We're doing rocks.
Evie just said we're doing an experiment with rocks today.
Ooh, is that true?
Was everybody able to find some rocks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Did we find rocks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Where did you find some rocks at today? Oh, she found some rocks at school. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That sounds great. What about you, Caroline? Were you able to find some rocks?
I was able to find some rocks. I've got various sizes and dirtiness.
Ooh. Perfect. You're right. Thank you so much. So we are going to go ahead. Are you ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
So our activity today is called No Stone Left Unturned. And we are going to explore and examine some of the rocks that we found today. And Evie, can you hold up some of the rocks that you found at school today? Do you want to hold that one up? So we found some gray rocks. Well, Evie found some gray rocks at school today.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, can you tell them some of the colors of the rocks that we have right here? No, you can't? Okay, well, maybe, should I do it for you?
Mm-hmm.
So we have some green rocks, and we have purple ones and blue ones. So lots of different colored rocks. Are they all the same size? What do you think? Are these all the same size?
Mm-hmm.
No, these aren't all the same size. Is that a big rock?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big rock, and that's a little rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you, Caroline? What color are the rocks that you have?
Well, I have a bunch of grayish rocks. I don't know if you guys can see them. And then I have a couple kind of lighter gray, some brown, and I have a little blue rock, which may not be able to be seen, but it's bright blue.
That's such a lovely color. I like that little blue one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a little royal blue one.
Friends, if you're doing the experiment with us today, were you able to find any rocks? And if so, can you describe them to us in the chat? This is really a great way to start thinking about, right, using words to describe things. So we can describe different things that we perceive with our senses, like how they feel or how they look.
Yeah, we started out talking about the color, so that's a really great one that we can see, but not all rocks feel the same. So Evie and I have one rock that feels very, very smooth to the touch, almost like it's slippery. But then we have other rocks that feel very kind of gritty and rough to my fingers. So what about you, Peregrine and Caroline? How do your rocks feel?
I love that we have some friends in the chat who are sharing that one friend says that their rock is totally black. We have some other people describing rocks as smooth and bumpy. Some of them have, sounds like we got a white one, we've got pointy ones. This is one that actually I wanted to share from our specimen drawer. So this is not one I found on the ground, but it does look really cool. And if I had to describe it, I would say it's rough and maybe a little bit pointy, kind of like one of my friends in the chat here. What about you, Caroline?
Yeah, I would say that all of my rocks, except for the tiny blue one, which I wish I could give you a better view, are very rough. The blue one is quite smooth though. Just a little point.
Oh, should you show them what happened? So Evie's doing something that's fun that you can do with rocks is a lot of times you find them and they're dirty, or rocks can look very different when they're dry versus when they're wet. And did you just paint that rock with water?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to it?
It got different.
It got different. So when we started, that rock looked like it had light gray and maybe a really light orange color to it. And now, can I hold it up for them? Maybe they can see. It looks like it almost has black dots on it and kind of red. And this is a special rock. So this rock came from Iceland. So its origin is more volcanic in nature than anything else that we have. So that could be something that's cool about it.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, I think I want to see the difference between my rocks wet and dry.
Yeah, do you want to do another one?
I'm going to go ahead. I have this one that looks kind of light gray. I don't know. It looks like maybe there's some like light scratches on the top. I'm going to I have a toothbrush. I don't have a paintbrush.
Look what happened to this rock.
What happened?
It turned into black.
It turned into black. Wow,
Whoa.
that's a great observation.
Oh.
So it started light gray, but when it got wet, it got really black and dark gray.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good change to notice. I think I want to try out mine too. I'm going to take my toothbrush and dip it in my water, and I'm going to try and just do like half of it.
Smart. I think I'm going to also try, go ahead and clean off mine a little bit, dip it in the water.
That sounds good. Oh, I like dipping it. That's a good idea too.
I'm sorry.
You got it? Okay. What happened with that one?
It got red.
It got red.
Look, this one got red.
That one turned red.
Well, mine didn't turn red, but it does look very different. There's some
Ooh,
difference
Oh,
I notice about it.
look at Peregrine.
it's shiny.
She made half wet and half is dry. It does. That's a great word, Caroline. It looks shiny to me. It almost looks like that could be glass on one side compared to the other.
Or like it's polished. If any of your friends out there are also doing the experiment, I'd love to hear what you're seeing maybe as you're washing your rocks. I'm going to try and wash some of the dirt off of this one to see if it looks any different.
Ooh. Are they sinking when we put
This is
them
really good for sharpening fine motor skills, of course. And also it's just really satisfying. It's something that I still like to do because I tend to pick up a lot of rocks when I'm out and about. So I do spend a fair amount of time cleaning them, and it's very meditative.
Yes.
Very nice. So do you think, why don't we take some of these out of the water? Well, because we can sort them into our different buckets. How do you think
Now, if anyone dipped in the water, did you see the water change at all? Was it really clear? I noticed that mine's gotten very murky.
That's a great observation, Caroline. Yeah, I see how when you dipped it in there, yeah, the dirt must have transferred to the water. So it made the water change color too. We had someone in the chat who said that theirs now looks like a diamond, which is so cool. I know that I have one. I have sort of like a crystal here. I'm going to see if I can wash my little crystal a little bit.
So another thing you can do with your rocks, dry or wet, is you can start sorting them into different categories, right? You can sort them based on their size, maybe based on where you found them, or even their color. So there's no wrong way to really have a rock collection and how you want to sort them. So Evie, how did you want to sort our rocks today? Do you remember? How do you want to sort them?
Pink.
Oh, well, we don't have any pink rocks, but is pink a color? Yeah, do you want to sort them by color? I think that sounds like a good idea. So we just have something as simple as a muffin tray. That's a really great one to use. You can use an egg carton for this as well. And Caroline, I think you actually have it. Oh, that's so cool. That one's black too, isn't it?
Oh,
I think, Caroline, you have a really fun piece of paper that you were going to use to sort yours, right?
yeah, absolutely. So if you don't have an egg carton on hand, what I did is I drew shapes. So like a long rectangle, a square, or a triangle. And I'm going to put the rocks in whatever shape they look most similar to. So this really long one here will probably end up being in my rectangle versus my kind of square one here.
So if we were going to sort ours, should we put all the gray ones together, all the black ones together?
That's such a great way to sort that, Caroline. I love that idea.
You think that's what we
So there's
should
so
do?
many different categories that we can use to sort things. We can look at their color, we can look at their shape. Do you guys have any other ideas about how you might sort a rock? Oh, where we found them was another idea we had. I kind of just have some little squares on my mat. And I don't have experiment can today because I have something a little different that I'll show you later. I'd love to see what Jennifer and Evie are doing.
I'm sorry, what paragraph?
I was just gonna say I'd love to tune into what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so Evie wants to sort ours by color. So right now we have, well, we have kind of by color right now. So we were gonna go with our dark gray ones were in here. And then we put this one in here because it looked red. But now we need to go through and kind of resort our other ones, right? So which ones, are we still painting them? So we have some blue ones that we're gonna put over here. Do you think this red one should maybe go with that red one? Yeah. What do you think? So we have gray and red. What color is this one?
Those are blues.
These are light blues. What about these?
These are Dark blue.
Dark blues. And what about that one?
Purple.
Yeah, so we have ours in 5 different categories right now. What's really cool, I think, is when Evie painted this one right here, it looked like it was gray, but when it's wet, it has a really light green look to it. So it's in our green category. So what's really fun is doing this activity with wet rocks, and then you could do it again with them dry, and they might not be all in the same place that you started out with, which I think is really fun.
I love this idea of changing your categories around because there's so many different ways you can look at rocks, right? I could say that these two are both more round than one like this, but what if I wanted to do something like Caroline did, where I had like maybe long ones together and then this more round one together? It just depends on what I decide to group them by.
Yeah. I love the idea of kind of doing 2 groupings at a time, because my rock collection is pretty big. I try to collect rocks anywhere I go. So I have my one. You put them all in, I see.
Let them have into the colors.
Oh, did you mix them all in the water together? Yeah. I have my rock from Iceland, and I have it labeled in a specific spot at home so I don't forget where I found some of them. So sometimes you can do almost 2 categories when sorting. You can maybe say, oh, I'm going to label them all and organize them that way. And then within that, even organize them by color and also place. So yeah, because you can get a lot of rocks really quickly.
I love that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a slightly closer look at my rocks, because what all of you can do is look really close at yours. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh yeah, so Evie, do you remember what we brought to look closer at our rocks? We have a magnifying glass with us.
That's one thing you can use. You can also just look at it really closely, and it's a little hard to do with our screens currently, so I wanted to use my little digital microscope to take a really close look, because a lot of times rocks look different far away versus up close. So I'm going to switch my camera here.
Yeah.
It just looks blurry right now, but if I put it down on one of my rocks.
Wow.
Wow, look at Peregrine. She has a special magnifying glass. Look at her shiny rock. Those look like crystals.
So
That's
these,
so cool.
So colorful.
they are. They surprise me with how colorful they are. And then I wanted to look too at, let's see, oh, this one, which I think looks to me like a regular looking rock, but when I looked at it closely, I could see all these different patterns.
Wow. Look at that one. If you look at Peregrine, it has a magnifying glass. It makes it really big.
I'm going to see if I can get closer to it. Whoops.
Oh, there you go. Amazing.
Whoa, I can see little pieces of, it looks like there's different kinds of rocks, all like kind of mushed together to make this rock.
Yeah, the different minerals that mush together to make the rocks. That's so cool, Peregrine.
But then when I look at this one, well, no, that one kind of looks like it has different flecks too.
Yeah.
Are all rocks made of different kinds of rock?
Ooh, all rocks are made of different kinds of minerals that come together, and some of them make the bigger crystals that you see, while others make smaller ones. What I think is really cool is that the tool that you're using lets you see there might be a rock that looks like it's all made of one thing, but it's really a lot of littler things that we can't even see with our eyes. We need some help. Yeah. You doing good?
Whoa, I'm noticing things about my rock I didn't even see before.
We are steadily continuing to wash our rocks pretty good.
Great.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So another way that you can get rocks even cleaner, because sometimes you'll get them and they really are caked with a lot of clay and everything like that, and just putting water on them doesn't do the trick. If you have an old toothbrush or a paintbrush or anything like that, something that you can really kind of like scrub on the surface of the rock to help remove the clay and everything. Yeah.
I'm going to dip it in water and then look at it.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, very cool.
And even if you don't have a microscope like this is something you can just look at it super, super closely.
Yeah.
I bet I could see all of this with my eyes if I held it really close to my face.
What is really, really cool is if you know the type of rock that you have. So let's say you know that you have a piece of quartz. You can always go and Google for images like close up of quartz, and you could see things like Peregrine's looking at, like close up images that people have taken of different types of rocks and everything. Ooh, can I show them this? Because I think this is really interesting. We talked about how kind of murky and how some of the dirt and everything might come off in the water, and we can see that our water is really cloudy from having all of our rocks.
That means you got them nice and clean.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This is so funny. This one I thought just had almost like little holes in them or little dots. It looks like a lot of different things. I'm going to switch back to my face cam here so I can show you some of the rocks that we were looking at. The one we just saw is this one. Just kind of looks like a gray rock. But when you look up close, there's a lot of amazing stuff to see.
Yeah.
This has been really cool, you guys. It seems like a lot of us had like rocks that we had collected from elsewhere. Sometimes the rocks were just from outside, like a lot of the ones I had and like the ones Evie collected from school. But all of them kind of had something to teach us because they have so many different features that we can use our senses to look at.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I absolutely agree.
I love it. I think probably we're about at time today, my friends, but I would encourage all of the rest of you to continue your experimenting at home, continue changing those categories around if you'd like to, continue to collect different rocks and add to your collections. I think that this is kind of an experiment that can be ongoing. I know that it's something that I'm continuously doing as I add to my collection, like you were saying, you add to yours, Jennifer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a great way to continue playing. And as you can see, we're still exploring, pouring the rocks from one cup to another and doing different water play and everything as well. So there's lots of directions this activity can go. And I would just encourage you to lean into whatever way your child is taking it. So it's fun.
That's so much fun. Friends, before we wave goodbye, I just wanted to tell you about one more thing. These next 2 weeks are going to be some really special little labs and labs at home. Next week is going to be a lab at home, but the week after that, so that's going to be December the 29th, we're actually going to give you the supplies that you need for that lab. These are some of our favorite labs, but that we can't usually do because a lot of the materials are not ones that we can find at home. So it's one where if you come to the museum between the hours of 10 and 2, the day before, so for the 29th, you would come on the 28th when we're open for our holiday hours. You can get your own little kit, which has all of the supplies that you will need to do the experiment with us. So I would really encourage you to come and check those out. You'll also have the registration link inside of your little kit. So that's something that I'll tell you about in a little bit more detail in the post-lab email, but I wanted to show you how much fun these little containers are. I really like them. And I hope that I'll see all of you then.
So exciting.
You say bye.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Thank you, friends, so much for joining us. I think let's go ahead and wave goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much, friends. Have a great rest of your day.